And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. We had a little technical snafu. Looks like the stream rolled a one, uh, in addition to Elo's attempt at, at bartending. So we had a little bit of a glitch, but we're back on. We're going to pick up where we left off. That poor drunken guy on the end of the of the bar is out cold on the ground, and the dwarf is tending to his wound, um, letting everyone know that his dwarven lumber is important. It's for a critical project for the town, and it's dwarven lumber is infused with stone, so it is very rare. It's very difficult to grow trees underground, understandably so. So that's the little bit that you missed before we realized the stream went down. What would you guys like to do next?
Uh, all right. Seems I'm striking out here. Perhaps we go make a few coin. What do you say, Yip?
Yes, let's do it. I like to play with goblins.
I bet you do.
The dwarf says, "Hi, I'll draw ye a map." And the guard that he had knocked down already is kind of standing next to him, was trying to help with the wound, but he's having none of it. I got it, boy. Don't you'll screw it up. Um, so he kind of grabs the guard and pulls him towards him and rolls up his sleeve and pulls out a quill and starts like drawing like this really crude map. Like, we came in from the east, and then this is where we veered off the trail and it went into the woods, and this is where we found this strange structure that they built, a monument to goblin insanity, I say. But that's where they ambushed me men. So I'm thinking me wagon and my lumber and everything should still be there. They're tiny little things. I can't imagine they moved it that quickly. The guard says, "Well, we can't exactly spare a man. It is a harvest festival and all, and our jurisdiction sort of ends at the town limits. Is the but we'll keep an eye out, and we'll send a messenger if there's any updates or any new information. Um, Best of luck."
We'll need it.
Okay. So you guys, as best you can, follow the dwarf's directions. You head to the edge of town. Beautiful, scenic forest, terrain around here. Why don't you each give me survival checks to see how well you navigate the woods and follow the dwarf's instructions.
A 5.
Okay. Okay, so Chris, the good news is that you have a luck point.
Yeah.
But combination of the dwarf's directions and the terrain being, it's broad daylight. It's early in the day, so you don't have to worry about overbrush or shadows or anything, and you are able to get to the area where you believe the dwarf mentioned that they had veered off the main trail. And you actually do see there's an area of the trail that's really, really muddy, like it's really thick, wet mud. And he did mention that there was a part of the road that had flooded, which is why they had to veer into the sort of rougher trails going through the forest, sort of as a detour. And you actually do see some traces of wagon tracks, deep footprints, because the ground was wet, so there was a couple of pretty heavy footsteps, which you would assume would be the dwarf and his two guards. And you arrive at a
On the way
spot.
there, could I try to harvest a little poison?
Sure, sure.
Excellent.
Will,
I think it's just a DC 10 to succeed there.
so
Cool.
you should have moved to a new map.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. Just do me a favor, guys. See if you can move your tokens.
will.
You should be sort of towards the upper left section of the map. It's not a very big map.
I cannot.
I cannot.
Okay, let me try and...
I can move it if I drag it in myself.
Okay, so I'll get rid of the one that's there. And then, Chris, if you want to do the same thing, you should be able to... and just put yourself where the one that I deleted was. And then I'll describe to you the scene. Okay, and then I'll get rid of this one. Okay. And then, Bob, if you want to pull up the Roll20 on the stream, so the folks can see what the players can see. So you approach the area off the beaten path here. You were following this trail here to the spot that described by the dwarf. And let's see. A large wooden wagon has been overturned a few feet from the road. An incomplete moat rings the structure. The vapors from its gelatinous contents reach your nose even at 50 paces. The wagon has been reinforced with broken shields and scavenged planks. An unfortunate fox has been nailed unceremoniously atop a crude doorway. Slits and holes of various sizes have been bored and carved into the walls, and you hear whispering and rustling coming from within. A flag made from cloth scraps hangs unmoving in the still air. So this is the sort of wagon structure. It looks like, unlike not a covered wagon, but sort of like a merchant would use to bring goods. It looks really banged up and weathered, and it has all this stuff on it, so you don't think it's the dwarf's wagon, because there's no way they could have built this in a couple of hours. But it's overturned, so the wheels are up in the air. And it's been sort of fashioned into this makeshift structure. Sitting on top, right here, is a goblin who is asleep. And over here, just to the side, is another goblin who's tearing apart these little crates. These are sort of like wooden crates that are just sort of like beams of wood, kind of like a lobster trap looking crate where like there's long gaps, and he's just sort of tearing the pieces of wood apart into loose pieces of wood, and he's sort of collecting them on the ground near his feet. They don't appear to have noticed you. So
Ella would immediately move for cover if they don't look like they've noticed us.
Over here, the trees and rocks could provide cover. This is a fairly large tree. You could probably hide over here.
Ella would, yeah. I'll tap Yip on the shoulder. Oi, I'm gonna head behind that rock over there. And Ella would kind of stay low to the ground and kind of sprint over towards this rock here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I run over and hide.
Oh.
You are maximum stealth.
Nice.
You kind of get behind the rock and kind of go prone and do like the soldier crawl for those last few feet to get fully under, behind cover. The goblins don't appear to have noticed you. This over here, now that you're a little bit closer, it's not really a moat. A moat sort of implies it's very deep. And you can tell from this distance, you're not that far. At least on this end, it's only about a foot deep. And it's just, water and some leaves that probably fell from this tree over here. So it's not particularly deep. You don't see anything moving in the water except the leaves that are kind of floating on the top. And you see like some tools and, some things over here on the ground. But that's all that you see from that vantage point.
Can I do a perception check to look for any other goblins that might be hiding
Sure.
in the
Absolutely.
area?
Okay. 18. You kind of take in the lay of the land. They don't appear to be any other goblins, but just off the map, it would be right about here, past these bushes. You see more wagon tracks leading off into the woods in the direction of the town.
In the direction of the town?
And they're
Okay.
really deep.
And it doesn't look like it was this wagon.
No,
you know, that
no,
made
this one's
those.
flipped over
Yeah.
on it. You know, and
Gotcha.
two of the wheels are on the ground behind
Yeah.
it, and the other two are just sort of. They look pretty haggard. This wagon is not in good shape.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rain damage, a lot of signs of wear and tear, and a bunch of stuff just nailed to the sides.
Yep, this is where the map told us to go, right? Perhaps these goblins might know where the definitely functioning wagon that our dwarven friend told us about.
I will go ask them.
Elo rolls his eyes and laughs to himself, and then wipes poison on his the spikes on his hands.
Can I get that on my rapier too? And I'm gonna sneak up there.
I'm also going to try.
Just
You know
wait.
what, Elo? Elo's gonna try to experiment with how deep this water is to see if he can get up real close. So he can breathe underwater for 20 minutes and has a swim speed equal to his walking speed. So I want to see if I can on my army crawl into the water and see if I can maneuver my way along that, or if it's not deep enough is what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, it's about a foot deep. There might be some spots where it's really narrow for you to get your frame through, but
Fair enough.
you can also kind of go sideways with impunity. Like you can kind of, because you don't have to worry about breathing or anything like that. So I could say you could sort of, it's almost like a trench.
Sure.
But underwater, kind of. So it wouldn't totally obscure you, but you think you could probably navigate through it a little bit easier because you won't have to worry about, say, the stepping on a twig or tripping on a stone, that sort of thing.
You know what? Elo's not that bright. This seems like a great idea.
Okay, so you're going to use the trench to kind of sneak a little bit closer. Yip, what direction are you going to be going?
I'm just gonna sneak up to here, and when I'm in range, I'm gonna sneak attack that one on the wagon.
Okay.
So I'll do a stealth check.
Well, hang on before you do that. Hold on.
There's no negotiating with Gabo.
Yeah. Blimey. They'll never see me coming.
Once you get to here, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, because as you're sneaking across, you get to the other side of this log and you step down on the ground and it gives way. There's a spike trap in the ground. Okay. Which you navigate very, very well. So you're going to take half damage.
Huh.
Okay, so half of 1 is still 1. So you take 1 piercing damage. It was just sort of loose branches and leaves and things like that, covering the spot with a few, like a blanket that was sort of laid out for the foliage to kind of sit on it. So it kind of looked like the rest of the terrain is actually pretty well hidden. But once you landed, the spikes were not particularly durable. So they poke you a little bit, but they don't do that much damage. And I would say it doesn't wake the goblin on top, but this goblin, it kind of gets alerted to the sound of the crackling of the wood and spikes. So I would say, Alo, you would get right about here.
Sure.
When this happens. So you see this goblin kind of start going in the direction of your friend there, and I would say, Yep, you he sees you kind of crawling out of the pit trap. So I'm gonna have you guys roll initiative.
Ooh,
Remember to
fantastic.
click your token.
Sorry, what do you mean? Click my token?
Yeah, before you actually do the initiative roll, but it looks like it did it. You click your token first, and then you roll initiative
Oh, okay.
to get it into the sequence. But it looks like it did. Okay, and then we have.
Excellent.
Okay, so I click that guy.
Well, not the best, but at least it's in.
That makes sense. The guy that was asleep didn't roll very well. Okay, so now we get it into the right order. Okay, so he actually goes first. This goblin here. So what is he going to do? What can he do? Okay. He sees you kind of crawling out of the spike trap. He says something in Goblinese, which you don't understand, and he runs up and he's going to try to attack you with his scimitar. That is a 12. That will probably miss.
That's a miss.
Okay. And then the one on top, I'm going to see if he is awakened by the noise. Oh, yeah. He's totally awake. So he is now awake. He gets up. He's got a bow in his hand. And that's actually the end of the regular goblin's turn. So this goblin archer on top, he's going to go next. So what do we got here? Oh, okay. They have things. This is awesome. Okay. So as a bonus action, and you guys won't understand this because they're speaking in Goblin, but he points at Yip and he screeches something in Goblinese, and this goblin actually now gets a reaction. It's an ability called Get That One. So he's going to move up to half his speed, which is he's just going to move over here to get to the side of you, and gets to make an attack. I think. Let's see. Use this reaction to move up to half its speed and make one melee attack. So he's going to do that. That's his reaction. Going to miss with a 10. So that was the goblin's bonus action. Yeah, it doesn't really know that Elo is there. He's kind of in the other direction and doing his sneaky swim move, his ninja fish move. So the archer is going to fire his bow at Yep. Yeah, that's the only one he knows is there. 14. That might hit.
That's a miss.
Okay. So the bow goes wild. He had a little, like when you wake up and you got that little crust in the corner of your eye. Like this goblins have really big eyes, so it's like a really big thing, a crust in his eye. So he screamed at the first goblin and then fired off without cleaning it off, and it kind of messed up his aim a little bit. So he gets himself together and prepares for his next go. Elo, you're up. You're up.
Excellent. How far away? I'm just trying to make sure. Are each of these? How far away is this one?
Each square is 5 feet.
Okay, so.
Each big square or a little square?
Yeah, the graph is a little off. So, your guys's tokens would be one normal square.
Okay.
It was kind of hard to size this map up. So.
Got it. So.
I would say 5, 10, 15. Yeah, he's about 25 feet ish.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy over there. Yep.
Okay, I gotcha. Then, well, I think I've seen my buddy Yip get out of things. I'm gonna try and get out and get up behind this fellow,
Okay.
and try and get up onto his level without him noticing me, if that's possible.
Yes, but the wagon is not particularly high, so
Okay,
climbing
it's
up it is not that difficult.
Oh, great.
But as you get close up to the wagon, there is another trap here.
Ah,
So I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as you get close, and you step on this little string that pulls, that sort of like goes through a couple of loops and pulls up, and there's like this little, like a sack almost with a
yes.
with a like a dagger sitting on top, and the rope pulls down and the dagger splits the sack, and like a gout of like this weird sludge kind of sprays out at you.
Oof.
But
I got
with a
12.
12, you have made the save.
Oof.
So you're going to take 1 fire damage.
Alrighty.
And now you're free to go up on top of the wagon without any problem.
Excellent. So I'm assuming because I hit that, he probably knows I'm coming.
Yeah.
Oi, that's my friend. That's my mate. And I come up and I give him the old 1-2 with my spiky hands.
Okay.
So I'm gonna swing first. Ay.
Oof. Well, the
Regular
good news
attack.
is
Oh,
you have another luck point.
right. Excellent. Fantastic. I'm assuming so that's my third. I can't use it on this one, right?
That is a good question. Let me look it up really quick.
Word. Either way, I'm going to use my bonus action to attack, so I can always roll that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So do that while I look it up really quick.
An 11.
Okay, players guide. It's a new system, guys, so we have little quirks here.
Gives me time to take a sip.
Where is? Oh, there it is. Okay. We got player's handbook. Scroll. Table of contents. Luck. Where is luck? Luck. Here we go. All right. So luck. Gaining luck. With an attack roll or fail a save. Clever idea. And my luck to 1 or more PCs. Maximum. Okay. So you inform bonus any checking. For example, if you have 4 luck, 15. Leaving it 2. Immediately after you make a check, attack ability, you can spend 3 luck to re-roll a d20. I would say, yeah, you failing the attack got you the 3rd luck, so you have 3 luck. So you can do it, sure.
Okay. Cool, I'm going to burn him right now. So this, for my bonus action, I rolled an 11. For my regular, I rolled a 13.
Okay, this guy's armor class is pretty high, so you actually missed.
Ooh, still feeling that ale. So try to get my bearings.
Okay. Yib, you're up.
He's going to look at the one that just attacked him here and says,
That's the mistake.
Yep.
and he attacks.
Awesome.
And...
Oof.
That's
An
a
8 is going to miss.
Yeah.
But you do get luck.
But the good news.
What's the luck do? Because I only have 1 point, so I.
Yeah, so right now you would be able to add +1.
Yeah, it's probably still gonna miss.
Yeah. So okay. Any bonus actions, movements, or anything?
I'm gonna use my scurry, and I can get away without provoking attack of op.
Okay.
I can move up to 10 feet. Let me look it up exactly here. As a bonus action, I can move up to 10 feet without provoking any attacks of op. This movement doesn't trigger traps or hazards that I'm aware of. even if they are.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to that's 5, 10. Not obscured, so I can't really hide. So I'll just go there.
Okay. So the goblin on the ground looks like he's about to go around the spike pit here to go after you, Yip, but the goblin on the roof of the wagon is like "Rah, rah," screaming goblinese at him and waving him up on top of the wagon. So he's going to follow orders and he's going to run up. He jumps up on this barrel and then up on the top of the wagon, and he's going to take a swing at Elo here. Ooh, non-natural 20. So we're gonna do 3 slashing damage from that, and that's gonna be his turn. Now it's the other one. Now he's only got a bow, and you're right in his face. So what is he gonna do there?
Take your best shot.
Oh, okay. He's got nimble escape, so he can disengage as a bonus. So he's just going to come around over here just to get away from you, and he's going to fire an arrow at Yip here on the back of the wagon. He's frustrated that he didn't hit you last time. Non-natural 20. So that is going to hit for 12 damage.
Woo!
Wait, that's not right.
That
That can't possibly be right. Oh yeah, 1d6 plus 4. Oh no. It's 10 damage, not 12. How did proficiency get in there? Hold on. That shouldn't be there.
+4 with a bow?
Yeah.
Damage?
They're
Yeah, there's an
deadly.
extra.
Kind
There's
of
an extra damage.
goblins are these? I want that bow.
Yeah, 1d6 plus 4. His dex is high. He's a goblin captain.
Wow.
Okay. That's going to be his turn.
And that will knock me out.
Ooh. Okay. Elo, you're up.
Look, I think we got off on the wrong foot here. My little green friends. Perhaps I could, and while he's saying this, he just turns around and runs and goes and tries to pick up Yip.
Okay. That will provoke an opportunity attack from this goblin if you do that.
Indeed it will.
All right. He's going to take a swing. 14?
Does not hit.
All right.
So I will pick up Yip, and that's 10 feet. And I will sprint, hop over this. How far can I go with Yip?
So I believe the rule is if you're dragging someone, it's like the same as difficult terrain, so it halves the distance.
Interesting. Can I do anything cool? Hey, did this thing cause fire damage before? That trap?
Yes. 1 fire damage. Yeah.
Could I? Would I be able to try and light that? Whatever substance it is?
Sure. Give it a shot.
Before running? I have a tinderbox. I have torches. I don't know that if that takes my action, that's okay.
Sure.
Great. I am gonna try and light whatever that flammable, whatever it is, that came out of that sack on fire,
Awesome.
and
Go for
then
it.
drag my boy Yip over that little ditch, if I can.
Okay. So I guess, and you said you're using a tinderbox, huh? Let's see.
Yeah, so that may be a little bit of a stretch.
What-
And if
what kind
if
of a
that's the
check
case,
would
that's
that
okay.
Um. Hmm. Hmm. That's a good, and it's a good idea. So I want you to at least have a shot at it. What kind of check would that be? Not sleight of hand. I guess a tinderbox is used to start a fire when you're camping, right?
Typically, I would think.
So
Yeah.
I would say this would be a survival check to properly use the tinderbox.
Well, I am using it to survive, so hopefully
Yes,
that works.
that's true. You are literally using it to survive. That's a good point.
Alrighty. Here it goes. Luck free. Oh boy, I don't think it's happening, boss.
Well, actually, believe it or not, there's a whole thing about fire and this structure.
Ooh,
So let me
excellent.
take a look here, because it has. It is vulnerable to fire.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, because this is basically kindling. The condition of the wood. It's very dried out. It's very banged up. So it actually is. There's actually a thing in here that describes that. So I would say even with a 6, if this is highly flammable, it's a highly flammable substance
Oh yeah.
on highly flammable wood with a spark. So I would say this works, just because it's awesome.
Fantastic. Alright.
Um,
Yep. Time to go, friend.
Okay. So, and this is awesome because you're turning around. So, if because there's a mechanic here. So, you have set the wagon on fire. There is burning, right?
Great.
We got to see how severe it is, right? Is it really damaging to the structure? Is it more superficial, making smoke? Like, what's going on here? Because there's a mechanic here, and it literally says, if the wagon takes fire damage, it has a 50% chance to burst into flames.
Yes. Let's
So,
go, wagon.
you're going to roll a D100. Now, before you roll it, 50% chance this thing goes up in flames. So you can choose either a 1 through 50, make it explode, or a 51 to 100 will make it explode. You can make that choice and then roll.
Well, Chris, it feels like we're rolling low tonight. So I think I'm going to go with the 1 to 50.
All right,
Got it.
sounds like a plan.
You got it.
Alrighty, here it goes.
Okay. So it didn't burst into flames, but it is on fire. So I would even say that the smoke would give you some cover, so that the other goblin wouldn't be able to fire an arrow off at you. It's like obscuring his sight. So
Okay.
we would have to jump down and go around. So that's going to give you some time to drag Yip away wherever you'd like, basically on the map.
Alright, so I think I could get, honestly, on this turn, only just across. And then I'd have to, just in terms of movement, using my action there. So I think I would just get just barely under this tree area. And yeah.
All right,
I
and
think
I would
that's all
say
I
that
can
these
get.
two goblins would jump down. So, like, the wagon now is sort of obscuring their sight of you here for a second or two. So once you kind of drag them over to the tree, what would you like to do?
Is there any sort of way that I can stabilize, like a medicine check?
Yes, you can, but I would say you'd have to wait till your next turn.
Yeah. Oh, of
Because, you know,
course.
you
I mean,
get all
I'm
this-
either trying to get him as far as I can away,
Get all
or
this cool
trying to
stuff.
medicine check.
But yeah. All right, so that would end your turn. Yep, I need a death saving throw. Wow, session 0, we got death saving throw.
I don't know what to roll. I'm just gonna roll 1d20.
Okay,
I
you
like
passed.
it.
Oh, one away. You would have woke up. All right. Well. Okay. So you
so
pass.
I get a bonus though, right? So I rolled a 19 plus what's my bonus on that?
How would that? Well, because it's a natural 20 that wakes you up.
Oh, natural 20.
So yeah, it would make it a 20, but not a natural.
Can I use my luck point to make it a natural 20?
No, it can't make it like a critical.
Okay.
It can make it mathematically a 20, like to do like a high DC or to get it over an armor class or something like that. But I would say for a death save that it wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so now it's the goblin's turn. Okay, are they smart? Okay, they're not going to go there because there's a pit over there. So they're actually probably going to come around this way. So he's over here by the water. And he's got a bow. So he's gonna retreat behind the cover over here. Yeah, so that's those two. Okay. Elo, you're up.
I am going to try to medicine check my guy.
Sure.
Excellent. Oh, lots of bad luck today. Hopefully this turns it about.
Yeah, I would say you could stabilize him with a 12. I think the DC is a 10, I think.
I think. Well, yeah, pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm gonna try to run away with Yip. Like, throw him over my shoulder and just hop to.
What direction do you guys go?
I am going back the way we came.
Okay.
And I am just trying to maybe, I'm trying to zigzag. I'm trying to maybe go like in a creek if I see one. I'm trying to create, might make my tracks hard to follow because I know that I need to get my man Yip to I don't know if I can get him all the way back to town or maybe just to a camp. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't leave tracks.
Okay.
That are easy to follow.
The goblins don't chase you immediately. One of them runs over to get some water out of the moat to put the fire out. And then the one with the bow is just kind of hanging back to see if you come back at them. So you're able to get a distance from this spot here. So I would say navigating your way back to town with Yip without drawing attention to yourself or leaving tracks or anything like that, I would say give me a survival check.
Excellent. This is where I'm gonna. It's here. This is the one.
Nice. Natural 20. Perfect.
Hey, right when we need it.
So with a 22, you're able to navigate the forest pretty well. Once the goblins are out of sight, that fire wasn't particularly big, so it wouldn't take that much time to put the fire out. So you kind of have to go through more sort of untamed parts of the forest that don't really have trails or any of that. You have to stay away from that area because you're not sure if the goblins decided to then try tracking you. To just sort of stay out of sight. So it takes you some time. And there's a couple of points as you're sort of going in the same direction where you see those deep tracks again.
Yeah.
And you're kind of using those as like a waypoint. Like you try to stay sort of close to those, and you feel like if you do that, you might at least get to some sort of trail or road or something like that.
Sure.
And obviously caring for Yip as you go. You come across, though, as you're following those deep tracks, you see a dead goblin in the brush. Like face down in the dirt near these tracks.
Yeah, I'll set Yip down. Oh, you've seen worse, lad. Just sleep it off.
It's been about an hour and a half, so Yip is starting to come to.
Excellent.
You've got one hit point, and you're slowly coming into consciousness.
As he's coming in, I'll kind of investigate this goblin, see what killed it.
Sure.
And if there's
Go for it.
tracks anywhere. Excellent. Oh,
Well, the good
So-
news is you have one luck. This goblin is definitely dead. You
Yep.
don't see any wounds. Like he hasn't been stabbed. All his parts are there. Like the body's intact. It was just on the ground. And not particularly cold. So even with a low investigation, you would know enough to know that if a body's not cold, it hasn't been dead very long. That's more of a common knowledge sort of thing.
I say, yep. If you're cold, you can snuggle up next to this corpse. It's a bit warm. Oh gosh, maybe it was killed
on
recently.
the outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe your kobold eyes can investigate this area better than me.
What was that? I must have tripped on it.
Well, I mean, the arrow is still sticking out of you. So I would imagine you could figure out what happened pretty easy.
Well, we got our asses handed to us by a bunch of green little devils. But I imagine we'll be giving it back soon.
Well, we need to go back to town.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that, but in the meantime, I did come across a dead goblin right here that we didn't kill, and I figured we should figure out who killed it, because, we should high-five that person.
Okay. Fine.
So, we see in a trail, right? We're like in the bushes. Is that what the situation
Yeah,
is?
it's definitely not a trail. This is like sort of the wilderness. So
Okay.
From the tracks, it looks like something was sort of forcing its way through sort of an unpaved or uncleared section of the woods.
Okay, so I'll take a look around to see if there's anything hiding.
Okay, give me a perception.
See if it's a trap. That roll, not very good.
You don't see. I mean, well, let's see. There are some obvious tracks, and they are in between the two, like wheel track, these sort of deep wagon tracks. A bunch of small feet, in between them. So those are apparent because there's so many. Outside of the wagon tracks, the deep wagon tracks, you really don't see any other traces of anybody else. Nothing in the trees up above. Nothing really stands out.
Okay. You want me to go and check out the corpse?
Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen a dead goblin. I can't make two heads about it. Or two left foots. I don't know. I'm having trouble. We could also rest a bit right here and follow these tracks. Still cash in on that gold.
Yeah, is there like what's it called? In D&D, when you rest, you get health back.
Short rest?
A short rest? In this game?
Yeah. You feel like you could take a short rest out here? Sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. I'll say you guys can do that. You can spend hit dice. Do whatever. Anything that resets on a short rest. You can do that. And then I'm gonna need. Let's see. We'll do even. It's elo. It's gonna be. So let's see.
So how many hit points can I get back here?
So I believe rogue hit die or a D.
Is it D8?
Yeah.
So I get
So
8.
at first level, you'd have one hit die, so you roll a D8 and then add your con modifier, your Constitution modifier.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
And then at the conclusion of your short rest, yep, I'm going to need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
No. I don't like that.
See,
14.
Okay. So you're sort of resting. You're getting, you get the arrow out. You get all bandaged up. You're taking a break. You're, dressing the wound, getting yourself back in, to rejoin the fray. And Elo is looking around, just kind of making sure the goblins don't come sneaking up on you. There's nobody around, that sort of thing. So you actually notice, in the air, right next to you, the air all of a sudden is like a little bit wavy, like if you're looking across like a desert terrain, the way the air just kind of gets all wavy. There's like a little bit of that, like right next to you. You just kind of catch it out of the corner of your eye.
Can I
like
do?
There's like a sensation in your mind, and it kind of gets you to look in your peripheral, and you see this little distortion.
I'm gonna say
right
move, and then try to do like a somersault away from it.
Okay. Give me an acrobatics check. Oh yeah, you nail it. You totally nail it.
I'll like leap up and like jump off the nook of a tree as far away as I can.
Oh.
Okay. So you do that, and you're now like in sort of a defensive posture, defensive stance.
I'll land in the superhero stance.
That little distortion in the air starts to take shape and take form, and you see sort of fluttering in the air, I'd say about 8 or 9 inches tall, is a little man. And he doesn't have wings on his back. He has wings instead of ears. And I'm going to show you what he looks like. Why is this? Where's the button? Oh, boy. All right, let me try it again. I'll take it out of the journal and try it again.
Do I see this?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
So this guy's just sort of fluttering there.
No.
And in one hand, he's got a tiny little knife. And in the other hand, he has like a wadded up little piece of paper. And he's just kind of listening. Okay. Big misunderstanding. Don't freak out. I could just really use some help. And you look like the types that would maybe be inclined to do that. And he puts the little knife away. He's like, sorry about the knife. You can never be too careful on it.
I think as soon as he says whatever his first line is, Elo just goes, "Oh, damn it," and goes and puffs up because he did not see this guy until just a second ago. He's like, "Oh, look what you did! Look what you did!"
This thing is huge.
So I'm coming down as he.
Are you satisfied with yourself? Look what you did to my friend.
Well, look, I mean, I'm just trying to go home, and nobody around here is very agreeable, and the goblins almost ate me, and I managed to get away when they had all their weird stuff that they were doing over there by their little base, and I saw you guys, and I thought maybe we could help each other out a little bit. If you help me out, I'll give you a gift. I'll give you something awesome.
What do you want us to do?
Well, and again, don't freak out, but I need like a bunch of your blood.
That's gonna be tough. I'm pretty poisonous.
Nice. I'm also not sure how much, so I'm thinking like you got to get it flowing a little bit maybe, and then we'll figure it out as we go. I got this ancient ritual, and he's like shaking this little piece of paper in his hand that I got to do so I can get the hell out of here and go home.
I've already lost a lot of blood.
There's probably a trail of it.
You can scrape it up from the dirt.
Oh, that won't work. Believe me, I've been trying. I've been following you for the last 20 minutes.
What would you give us?
Well, I'm not like powerful or nothing like that, but you know, I've accumulated a couple of trinkets here and there, and I'm sure you'd enjoy one of them at least.
Oh, a trinket could be nice. As Elo comes back down to regular size. I mean, I don't need much blood anyway. I'll just drink water replaces it. It's, you know. Hey, you're not a demon, are you?
What? No, I'm like the opposite. No, wait. Angel would be the opposite of that, right? No. Angel's the opposite of a devil, right? How does that work? I don't know. I'm Fae. I'm not a demon.
I quite like Fae.
See, I got feathery wings, not leathery kind. That's how you can tell the difference.
Oh.
Makes sense to me.
Elo shrugs and sticks a spike into his arm. It opens up a vein.
Okay. You take 2 damage. Yeah, so he kind of comes over and he's got his little piece of paper and he's like, okay. And he's like, he sort of flutters over like by your elbow, and he's like kind of talking over the blood, and he's like chanting and or something like that. Like,
About these trinkets.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got a chant. Hang on. Yeah, Fae stuff is weird. So, like, you can't pick it or anything. Like, I've got some stuff, and, you know, we made a deal. So, if it, you know, you're holding up your end, so when we're ready, I'll hold up my end, too. I can't guarantee what it's going to be, but you can definitely have one of my trinkets. No problem. It's this weird Fae thing. It's very complicated. And he just kind of goes back to chanting sort of under his breath. And
It's gonna be bad, and I like it.
let's see. Yeah. Give me an insight check.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's not bad. An 8.
Hot rolls.
I know, we are rolling hot.
Okay. Let's see. How does that work?
You always want hot rolls when you're doing a 2-man night. You know.
Okay. At a certain point, Elo, you're losing a little bit more blood. You're getting a little lightheaded, so you sit down. You know, like on like a big branch that's kind of, you know, falling off a tree. So you kind of find a spot to kind of sit down.
You about done yet?
No, but we're making progress. It's working. I can definitely tell it's working. And you kind of start dozing off a little bit. Yep, you sort of go over to try to help because you're kind of worried that maybe something's going down here. When you see a few feet away from you guys, this little swirl of green light kind of materialize in the sky, in the air, and then it starts to expand into like a disc, almost like a mirror. And it takes a minute as it starts to expand because it's kind of hard to tell, but through this sort of opening, if you look through it, there's vegetation on the other side, but it's different. It's a different kind. It's not the same trees. It's not the same bushes as the forest that you're in. And it kind of expands to about a 6 foot high, you know, oval sort of swirl. It's like a swirl, green swirl of energy with this other type of vegetation on the in the circle, in the oval. And you mostly notice the contrast because the leaves are much darker. And as it expands a little bit further, you can kind of see, like, in the background, the sky is just, in general, just kind of gray and dark. And this little guy kind of flutters over to that. He goes, "Oh, it worked! It worked! I'm getting the hell out of here." and he turns to you guys, and he's like, "Hey, so like full disclosure, I wasn't exactly 100% like on the up and up, but it's okay because you like your friend is still alive. I just want to point that out. So hang on one second." And he kind of uh, uh, starts like spinning around, and like there's like some smoke kind of comes from his body, and he grows in size to look like this.
Oh no.
And you're getting like the vibe of like the guy from A Clockwork Orange.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's kind of
Ultra
dancing a little
violence.
bit as he moves
We've
around.
got no milk.
Like he's got kind of a flourish to his movements, and he's got this fancy top hat.
Uh-huh.
And he says, by the way, this was drawn. This is a creature out of one of Kobold Press's creature manuals. And the artist, Brian Simon, you can see his name on the art there. He's my favorite artist doing D&D stuff. He's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
But so he's sort of materializes in front of you, and he says, I find the little fluttery version of me is a lot more agreeable to most folks here on the material plane. I apologize, gentlemen.
I kind of like this version.
Oh, thank you so much. I am a bit flamboyant, but I do enjoy meeting new people, and I wish we could get to know each other a little bit better and spend some time together. You were nice enough to help me. But I'm on a bit of a short timetable. This portal's only going to be open for a few more seconds, and then I'm going to need more blood, and your friend doesn't have that much more, and I don't want to look gift horse in the mouth. You were very generous and very trusting. I need to get the hell out of the prime material plane. You would be best if you have any connections elsewhere to do the same. There's something brewing, and those of us that live in the gray tend to get trampled when darkness rises before everybody else. So I'm making a break back for my home plane before it gets a little too rough for folks like me. Best of luck, though. I'm sure you'll do fine.
Oh.
And I'm not a liar. Well, I am a liar because I totally lied to you. But you made a deal, and you held up your end. So I hope you enjoyed the trinket. And I was telling the truth. I have no control over what you're getting. And he steps through the portal, and he says, I have to be on this side, otherwise the magic won't work. Have a good one. And so the energy ring just sort of flares. And you the light's really bright, so you kind of avert your eyes and close your eyes. And it feels like it's like a split second passes, right?
Okay.
But you realize that you're both you're not standing, you're laying on the ground, and it's nighttime.
Oh boy.
Wow.
And you
Well, slap me with a tea bag.
you sort of both start to get up and sort of get your bearings, and you realize you're not by yourself.
Oh no. Now what?
Crumpets.
As you awaken, you find that there's something sitting on your chest. It's a tiny little sort of lizard-like creature, and I will show you what he looks like. About the size of like a squirrel, only reptilian kind of.
It looks like
and he's got these sort of bony protrusions on his back, and he's just kind of like he's sort of like as you're waking up, he's looking right at you, and his eyes kind of move independently of each other. They're never really like looking in the same spot twice, and they're really skittish. And he's just sort of sitting there on your chest.
Well, I'm all out of blood. Oh.
And like a little bug kind of flies by, and his tongue goes, and he catches a bug with his tongue, and
Yep. I may have made some poor choices. This is why you're generally in charge.
What do we do with this thing?
Why don't you guys each give me nature checks?
Uh-oh. Oh.
Okay. This creature's a little on the rare side, so I would say Yib with the 14, you would know what this is. This is a very tiny draconian creature called a dragonette. They are primarily denizens of the Feywild. There's not many on the material plane, but they do exist. And this one looks fully grown. This is as big as they get. And it appears to be friendly to you. As you stand up, it kind of hops off and it goes over to you, Elo, and it kind of like does that thing a cat does, where like it kind of walks between your legs and kind of rubs against you as it passes. But like its back is a little bony, so it's a little rough. Like it doesn't hurt per se, but it's like a little rougher. It doesn't have fur or anything. It's got like scales, and those bony protrusions on its back are a little hard. So it's not particularly comfortable what it does, but it appears to be kind of showing affection in a way, almost.
Sure, I'll reach down. I got a soft spot for tough skin disorders, and I kind of reach down and what would be a pet, I guess. Kind of drag my hand along its scaly back in a gentle way, trying to kind of show the affection back. All right there, little friend. Are you here to make a deal or maybe lead us somewhere? Because it's been a day.
It just kind of looks at you and then kind of looks around.
I'll speak to it in Draconic. Do you speak?
It immediately like whoop, like looks over at you with like enthusiasm, and it kind of like sprints up the side of you like onto your shoulder, and kind of makes like lizardy kind of sounds, but doesn't speak. But you can tell when you spoke to in Draconic, it understood you better.
Nice.
And was definitely happy to hear you speak that language. It was a positive sort of a reaction to that.
Excellent. This is a blessing from the great Kratskalax himself. It must be a sign that we will prosper today.
Oh, we could use it.
Definitely.
Oh shoot. I forgot. I have my heritage, Beast Affinity. I can gesture or sound, communicate, but it's with things that have the animal tag, so I don't know if this would actually... I can, kind of communicate with animals. Loose, simple ideas.
Okay. I would say that would apply here. It's technically a draconian creature.
Yeah,
but,
fair enough. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But, I'll, pull out some rations and, kind of hold some in my hand and hold it to it as I kind of eat some myself.
Yeah, it leaps down from Yib and it kind of crawls up the side of you to like hang out on your arm, and it kind of like you've got the sort of like the typical like D&D field trail mix kind of thing in your hand. A little bit of jerky, a little bit of nuts, and maybe some dried beans or something. And it's like picking through, looking for the parts that it wants. And it kind of takes there's like a little piece of dried fruit in there, and it eats that and that sort of thing.
Oh.
And then leaves the rest for you. It doesn't take much. It's not a very big creature, so.
Sure.
And it just ate a pretty decent sized bug, so it doesn't it doesn't take much out of your hand, but it definitely understood what you said, and appreciated the gesture. It goes up your shoulder. And then it does that thing again where it sort of rubs itself on you, but like on like the side of your head and your neck. And you realize that like if it was doing it aggressively, like that would kind of hurt. Not like, a debilitating massive attack, but like if it really wanted to, like those little protrusions are pretty dense. Almost like a shell. Not quite a shell, but in that realm. So that's definitely some sort of defensive thing that it has on itself. And it just kind of hangs out with you guys.
Okay.
I've also given you guys control over its sheet. It has a little character sheet with its stats and stuff.
Well, hello, little friend.
If it ever comes into play. But yeah, you have this little dragonette companion with you. It appears to like you very much. And
Nice.
it is you're not sure what hour, but you do know you must have been out for a little while. Because it's definitely like well into the evening. The sun has been down for a fair amount of time. It's not even there's no little like after the sun sets, there's like a little bit of glow left on the horizon. Like that's totally gone. It's totally it's you're not quite sure what time it is, but it's well into the evening.
Well, yep. I guess good fortune seems to want to come with us. What do you think we should do?
Well, we could try again with the goblins. They are way more powerful than I imagine. Yep.
Indeed. Yeah. Perhaps. I thought if we each took one on, we would each kill our own. But
Yeah.
instead, we didn't hit them once, and that was really a big letdown.
Yeah.
So maybe
I got some dirt in my eye.
No, I know the feeling that was not a moat. I found the bottom very quick. So perhaps
We need to slay the one with the bow first.
indeed, but I will say those goblins didn't seem. I was hoping to just get information from them. Did you notice? No, you were dead. Sorry, I forgot. We came across some tracks, some really deep ones, and I'm thinking because that wagon didn't look like the wagon we were after. Perhaps the deep tracks were left by the wagon we're after, which is weighed down with hefty lumber.
That sounds reasonable.
Does it really? Because when I think about the plan, when I come up with the plan, it's almost 90% of the time just a bad idea.
Well, I'd rather not take on those two goblins again.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
can
come back.
We'll come back. Maybe we can get some more help to take them out.
Yeah.
They're powerful. Let's follow the wagon trail to see where it goes. Good call.
Well, surprised once again that Yip, we were so successful with Yip's plans, but Elo is very excited to have done something helpful for our trio, it seems. Yeah, I guess we'll, if possible, can I find those tracks again?
Yeah, I mean you're in the same spot that you were like when the in the daytime. So you sort of get your bearings. You figure out, okay, the tracks were over there, a few feet away, and you go over there, and the tracks are right there. So you would be able to follow them, no problem.
Fantastic. I guess we'll follow those tracks, hoping that is the wagon that we're actually after.
I speak to the dragonette companion in Draconic.
Do you think you could follow the trail?
It looks at you and it skitters down, and it sort of gets into one of the tracks because it's small enough, and sort of is using it as like a path, and starts kind of scurrying down. Goes ahead for a little bit. We'll wait for you, and then we'll
Let's
kind of
follow.
go ahead and get ahead of you and follow the tracks.
Okay.
Excellent. Do I have a trinket, by the way? Like, did I notice an amulet or a necklace or anything?
No, you don't have any new possessions.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it looks
So I'm
like
just-
this little guy is the trinket.
Is the trinket.
That's I was wondering. Yeah. Well. I guess my brash bloodletting worked out. And I'll kind of follow after Dragonette.
Okay. So you follow these tracks for a while. You're getting towards the edge of the forest, and you sort of emerge, and you can see the town. You can see Hommelane from here. And you're at the top of sort of a long hill that leads down to the town. At the top of the hill, as you get to the edge of the brush, you see 4 more dead goblins on the ground. And you see, like, the tracks go down the hill a little bit, and then it looks like they don't abruptly stop, but they kind of lessen a bit until they get basically to the bottom of the hill, and you don't see any tracks. But they were going in the direction of the town.
Can we figure out what killed these goblins?
You guys, either one of you or both of you, could give me medicine.
Yeah,
check.
we'll do a search in medicine. Let's see. Medicine.
Oof.
Okay, with a 14. Just like the other goblin corpse that you guys came across, these goblins don't have any visible, like, injuries. They weren't stabbed or hit with a hammer or chopped in half or anything like that. They're intact. And sort of a combination of you were just fighting a couple of, like, able-bodied goblins in close proximity. Comparing them to these goblins look really, like, a little bit emaciated and massively dehydrated. It kind of looks like they died of exhaustion.
Exhaustion or massive bloodletting. I'm gonna go with exhaustion. Well, actually, yep, you're going with exhaustion. Sorry, what?
Strange.
Yes, indeed.
Let's keep going. But this is heading to town?
Yes, and you're actually pretty close at this point.
Well, we could always, stop in at the Blind Hills, ask around. I guess we'll follow the tracks into town.
Yeah.
Okay. As you approach, you can see, like, as you kind of get back into town, there's no festivities. There's no music. There's no hustle and bustle in that way. There is some, because sort of as you approach the town, you're coming in at one of the bigger main roads, main streets kind of thing. And you start to notice there's, like, a barrel that's been smashed. And, like in the Wild West where the guys would tie their horses up, there was always that water trough. There's, like, one of those that looks like it's been broken and splintered and is all over the place. And people are, like, a little bit more somber. They're a little bit more quiet. There's some kids, like, in a group, like, sitting on a porch, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, we were so close. It was so big and scary." And another guy said, "Oh yeah, I think there was a magic bat, and it was helping people." And then you see this one woman, and she's got, like, a big bag of groceries, and she's, like, scrambling across the street really, really fast. And then you start getting a little bit deeper into the town, and you get sort of like a town square sort of area. And you see a crew of guys, like townspeople. And they're it looks like they're trying to figure out what to do with this. It's difficult for you to kind of grasp what it is for a moment, because it did get kind of beat up. But it looks like a stagecoach with these big wooden panels hammered onto the sides.
Wood with
and inlaid into the wood is stone. It looks like plywood cut from a tree that was part rock.
Oh boy, yep.
The back section of the wagon has been torn off. And there's a big hole in the roof of the wagon. And you see a couple guys loading goblin bodies onto, like, a stretcher. And these goblins were definitely, like, injured with weapons. Like, one's cut in half. They're all kinds of messed up. And the crew kind of see you two, and they said, "Oh, have you come to help with the cleanup? It's a real mess." ruined festivities. This has never happened in the history of the a harvest festival, that this sort of horrible occurrence would happen in broad daylight.
What is it that happened?
Well, it was these lot, and he sort of kicks one of the goblin corpses. He goes, these little green. Well, no offense, different kind of green, different shade of green. That shade of green bastards attacked our town with this monstrosity, this contraption. At least we got our dwarven lumber.
We found it for you.
In fact, yes. I think we've completed our job. And I have plenty of suggestions. One, goblin serial killers on the loose. Clearly, it seems the harvest festivals was it not a good harvest? It's a bummer what's going on here. Happy to help clean up.
The harvest was fantastic, and the festival this morning was going as well as to be expected. There was much revelry, and there was it was a great time. And then this damn thing comes barreling down the road, almost kills a child and his mother. Luckily, there were some folks there to help, and they took care of the goblins, and things appear to be safe. But we don't even know where these goblins came from.
Did you say they killed goblins?
Oh yes, a very colorful bunch. They kicked the crap out of these goblins.
I would love to meet them. Yep, would you like to meet some goblin killers?
I would love to. Where are they?
I think they're visiting with the lady with the child that almost died. I think they're staying with her. But I'm sure they'll have to debrief with the mayor tomorrow. They said something about a woman in a lake. Didn't quite catch it. I'm busy with the work here. And that angry dwarven fellow is at the doctor's home, being treated for his wound. And we're just we're not quite sure what to do with this thing. Dwarven lumber's very heavy. But one of the wheels is broken off, so we can't just push it where we want to go. We're gonna have to get some fellas together to figure that out. But
perhaps this is a good spot for the clock tower.
That's not a bad idea. Would definitely cut down on the time it would take to move this heavy monstrosity of lumber with rocks. I've never seen anything like it before. But those other folks, they definitely saw some action, and I think they said something about leaving in the morning. So they may be having a private moment with this woman and her child. But I'm sure in the morning, we can let them know that you're looking for them.
That would be excellent.
Yes.
Yes, I'll make sure one of the children sends that message to you.
Fantastic. Should we see the dwarf? We found his lumber.
I think
perhaps
so.
I'm sure in his state he would love to pay us some money.
Can't hurt but try.
All right. So you can get directions to the doctor's house.
Excellent.
And you kind of knock on the door, and it was sort of ajar a little bit. You knock on the door, and it opens, and you can see a guy in sort of like a lab coat, kind of doctor's shawl or whatever you want to call it, smock kind of thing. And the dwarven merchant that you met this morning is sort of in an examination chair, like a sort of reclining thing, and he's sweating profusely. His face is extra red. He was a hot-tempered guy, so his face was already kind of flushed, but it's like extra. And the doctor's like, well, I told you to come by and get this treated hours ago. It's a minor infection. You're going to be fine. I've applied the necessary topical creams, but I need you to rest. I ain't got time to rest, damn it. The lumber found me again, and I gotta make sure I get paid for it.
I lean down to Yip and I say, like our usual, I'll cause the distraction. You nab the goods. Uh,
But
Okay.
and as we
Awesome.
go in,
Awesome.
I
you want me to steal his money?
and I say, Doctor, this is our working associate, and we were here to come meet with him about our deal. But oh gosh, what has happened? And I'm gonna do my best when I look at like the infection or the wound to then puff up and like kind of bump into stuff. And,
And
Yeah.
like
Oh,
some
oh,
instruments
oh.
fall on the ground. Can't you see I'm treating a patient? This is highly irregular. Some of this equipment is sensitive, and this is like D&D times. So like it's the crudest equipment ever. Like everything's made of wood. There's no it's not a microscope. It's like a spyglass on a little like bipod, like a little tripod, to look at a petri dish or something. It wouldn't be able to solve anything. But you're sort of knocking it all around. So I would say give me, let's see. I would say that's more than enough of a distraction, especially, taking up all that space. So I would say, yep, just give me I guess sleight of hand, because you're taking it off his belt. So, you get a pouch. Yep, and you kind of tuck it away, and your dragonette kind of applauds a little bit.
Nice.
As I kind of come down, I say, "Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I just was shocked by the wound. It seems that my friend is incapacitated. We will come back tomorrow to finish our dealings with our friend. Thank you, Doctor. Take good care of him."
Yes, he'll be fine in the morning. It's a minor infection. If he could just treated the wound, but what do I know? I'm just a doctor. And he's kind of putting his things back as you exit.
Awesome.
All right.
I guess
Something that didn't go terribly wrong.
the thievery. Yes, that's the one that goes right.
Yes.
See, whenever we try noble things, it never goes our way.
Wow. So, do we want to go back after those two, or do we just want to let them go?
Well, I figured we talk to those goblin killers in the morning and head back out after them.
Yes, get their help. I like
Indeed.
that idea.
At this point, and I like tap the area where you slipped the coin purse. I'm like, I think the Blind Hills is calling our name.
All right, let's go back to the bar and count
Okay.
our reward.
You guys head back to the Blind Hills. Once you have a moment to actually look in the pouch, you're a bit disappointed. There are 6 silver pieces and a bunch of rocks.
Oh,
Oh man, that dwarf.
Now, in a town like this, 6 silver pieces will get you a lot of booze. Like
well,
that's a room for the night for each of you, and set as much beverages as you're going to need.
Perfect.
all right, we'll take it.
So you can have yet another fun evening of revelry, which next session we can go into. I think that's a perfect introduction.
Perfect.
Once the whole team is together. This I think we'll end it here. There's a good ending spot. And now the team's got some choices now. I like this. This is interesting. So you guys have control of the dragonette. You can give them a name, if you guys want to figure that out, or let it come organically as you play. That's totally fine. We'll see everybody same time next week with the whole group together. So we get to see, how that works out. And we will find out what direction they're going to go, what's happening, and what we're going to do. Great session, guys. I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. Great job, Kyle. That was fun.
Especially
was
with
really
new
fun.
players, you get to know each other and everything, but this was terrific. So much stuff just fell into place. That's awesome. So I had a really good time, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you to Bob for letting me do this on his channel. Thanking anybody
Bob.
watching now or in the future when you look at the video later. So I'll pre-thank you, I guess, future viewers. And we'll see you with the whole party next week, next Tuesday, 8:30. Have a good night, everybody.
I guess.
Night.